What's up, everyone? Happy holidays. Bobobo here with another review, this time for episode 6, as well as the entire season 1 of Hawkeye series on Disney+. And this episode is a banger. And for me, wow. I mean, it's the best episode in the series for sure. And it really answers most of the questions that we had up until this point. I'm going to talk about all the Easter eggs, references, and all the cameos and major players that showed up to this holiday cap-off of the series, and what that might mean for the future of the MCU. So, let's strap in our quivers, make sure our trick arrows are ready, and dive straight into this juicy episode. Let's go! And the very first scene, we get an entrance by none other than Wilson Fisk, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, now officially in the MCU. I kind of wanted a grander entrance for him, but they kept it really subtle, as if he was here all the whole time. So that's the question, right? Is this the exact same Wilson Fisk from the Netflix shows? Or is he a variant that always belonged in the MCU? He's sporting his classic white suit and cane here. And right off the bat, can I just say that it's so good to officially see him back? He's one of the few actors and characters that I really wanted to see back in the MCU, as he was definitely up there in terms of great villains that are enthralling and at the same time just somehow relatable. And surprisingly, Eleanor is here to get out of the game, because she doesn't want Kate to find out and possibly endangering herself. This was quite a move that I did not expect her to stand up to Fisk here. And you can actually see Kingpin's eye twitch as he hears this and as Eleanor leaves. So we cut to Yelena. Somehow she got a camera in their meeting room, or she's hiding up on the ceiling somewhere, but she records all this and sends it to Kate. Maya comes to talk to Kingpin as well, and she wants a few days off, like a holiday. But actually, probably, she wants to thinking about quit working for him. So Kingpin's pissed. We cut to Clint and Kate saying that they need to prepare for tonight's dinner party, and that they need to make some more trick arrows because apparently there's none left in the world. So we get a montage of them making more trick arrows along with all the Stark and Pym tech arrows. They do have an emotional moment where Kate tells him that he is her hero, that even though he's just a human without any kind of protection or powers, who's fighting against the alien invasion during Loki's tantrum in Avengers 1. So I really like this moment, as it does highlight that Hawkeye might be the most relatable Avenger out of all the members, and how he might be a better example to normal people than the other ones, just because he's a normal human being, but he's doing all these crazy stunts and all this superhero stuff that, to protect everyone. So we then cut to the party. Everyone is dressed up and all fancy. Even Yelena, again, with another new hairstyle. She's just getting new hairstyles every 3 minutes, I feel like. So the party is ruined pretty early on, as Kazi has a sniper and he opens fire on Clint. We then cut to Jack, who I've grown quite fond of, just because I always thought that he was going to be the main villain here, but he turned into more of a comedic bad guy and almost a good guy, just like a third party on the sidelines kind of character. And Kate and Yelena has a really funny moment, almost like they're sisters just playing around. Kate tries to slow Yelena down by pressing all the elevator floor buttons and just ends up really annoying Yelena. And Yelena gets a pretty cool scene where she propels down the side of the Rockefeller Center and almost manages to kill Clint. She doesn't, obviously. Kazi tracks down Clint, and they also have a short fight here. It's short but sweet, as we see Clint actually suplex Kazi, really showing that he's great with not just arrows. Clint and Kate do get a very cool fight scene in the ice rink at Rockefeller Plaza, where they all use their trick arrows. Some of those look like they really hurt. Yep, he's dead. Yeah, that leg is gone. He's dead too. But it is very cool to see them fight back to back. We then get a kind of a reorganization of the fight scene here. Clint is now fighting or trying to convince Yelena, which doesn't really work out in the beginning, as it sounds like she's been told some pretty wild lies about how Natasha died. Maya is fighting Kazi, and that ends pretty quick as Maya just kills him straight up. And Kate is fighting Kingpin? Okay. She fires 2 arrows that look like it hurt, but actually just does nothing but annoy Fisk. But he does get hit pretty hard with a car, so he's probably down for about a minute or so. And yeah, he's back up. And he's really this bullet sponge tank that just doesn't go down like a raid boss or something until he gets hit with all the trick arrows at once. We cut back to Yelena and Clint as we get a Martha moment from them. It does seem like out of nowhere Clint does the secret whistle that Yelena and Natasha did when they were kids, but this is much better than the Martha scene. And Yelena realizes that Natasha and Clint were very close. Therefore, there's no way that Clint did anything to harm her, and he did a pretty good job of convincing her that. I think what did it was Clint admitting that he's not as good as Natasha, which makes Yelena feel a lot better. So he basically says that no matter what he did, Natasha was going to beat him at, whatever she wants accomplished. So I think that got to Yelena a lot. And we do see a very emotional, very real side of Yelena, which I really enjoyed, since it shows that she's not just this facade of nonchalant Russian jokes, but actually has a lot of heart to her. I really love that. And in a surprising ending, Maya kills Kingpin. What? Did we just see Vincent D'Onofrio brought back to the MCU just to get offed in the same episode? Everything is wrapped up pretty nicely, and we see Clint and Kate and Pizza Dog drive back to his farmhouse, which somehow got to me just seeing the same farm from Endgame. It's a cool set. We do find out that the Rolex belonged to Clint's wife, aka Mockingbird. We end the entire season with Clint burning his Ronin suit. I guess this is goodbye to the Ronin character, or so far at least. And yeah, that's it. Overall, this episode really solidified that it really is in the MCU universe, and that you really do have to watch all their shows and all of the movies in order, because there's a lot of callbacks and stuff that you have to know to get into this and be able to understand a lot of important plot relevant details. Everything just wraps up a little bit too nicely for me. We don't really get any references to the future storylines either, other than the post-credit scene. So yeah, we do get a post-credit scene here, but it's not really anything towards the future storylines or anything like that. We get a full rendition of the Rogers musical. What's a bit weird is that this is supposed to be from Avengers 1, where they were fighting Loki, but somehow I guess the general public thinks that Ant-Man was also there. Yeah, you just can't see him. So they even gave him this generic shirt, which is pretty funny to me. This episode was like 80% action scenes, and I do wish that we got more of a sneak peek of what's to come, because they dealt with Fisk just like that after hyping him up all season. And I actually thought for a bit that Charlie Cox was going to show up in some capacity. But speaking of those, I'm sure we'll get Charlie Cox in a future show, and I'm sure that Wilson Fisk is not dead, because they didn't show it. They showed the gunshot, but they didn't show him actually dying, so I'm sure he's going to be back. And Yelena's storyline was wrapped up pretty quickly too, through the scenes that she had since episode 4, which is not a lot. But I'm sure we'll also see her back in some capacity in the future too. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It's definitely the best one out of the whole season. And they kept it pretty lighthearted for the holidays, so I'll give them that. And that's about it. Thanks for watching all the way until the end. Please like and comment down below of what you thought of season 1 of Hawkeye. And please everyone, subscribe to the channel, as there's a lot more great content coming. I'm watching the Resident Evil movie right now. Also, I'm watching the new Witcher season 2 on Netflix, so those will probably be coming sometime soon. Yeah, thanks, and have a great day.